Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these subjects and topics, looking for potential investment opportunities. I spend a lot of time thinking about those opportunities, finding them, ensuring that I am allocating to them properly. And I share that all with everyone in the community. And I think that's probably what the next one, the Q&A session that we'll go through is all the companies, the allocation, the risks, and all that stuff associated with all those companies. So I think that's probably a good one for the next Q&A session that's coming up Saturday, 7 a.m. So let's dive in, take a look, see what's going on. And just as a reminder, we do have a special discount coupon code for the website. It's special is the coupon code if you'd like to try it out, monthly membership or the yearly. The yearly has a bigger discount than the monthly. All right, so looking at the dollar, the DXY, again, this is a relative strength indicator. We are seeing weakness in the dollar. You can see this big selling pressure, and a little bit of selling pressure here. When I do see this, it's kind of squeezing up into a corner. So I'll just quickly draw this in here. That's the corner that I see. So we had a rising wedge. We dropped out of the rising wedge this way, and we've been chopping sideways. And we're squeezing up into a corner here. So we'll see which direction this will break here. I'll put a more legit looking deal there. We'll see which way this thing breaks, and if we get a break higher or a break lower. I don't know which direction. I can't tell you that. If I were to guess, I think rates are going to go up, but a lot of the commodity currencies look strong against the dollar, so it makes me think that there's a chance that this dollar will roll over. The 2-year yield, it is still strong. It still looks good, like we could go higher. We're underneath resistance going through here. You can take this out here. We're underneath resistance. We had a falling wedge that broke to the upside. We're trying to break higher, and we're underneath resistance. This still looks good to try to break higher. And the reason I say that is the way the setup is, big buying pressure, small selling pressure, those generally work their way up. The 10-year yield, it's been floating higher here the past 4 trading sessions, but it's all almost within the down candlestick that we've got. So a lot of the times, and it doesn't mean that this happens all the time, but a lot of the times what I see is that this is a struggle to go up, and this is a forceful move lower. So we could see this jolt lower again. And that's generally what I see. So is it going to do that? It's a tough one here because we've got this longer term setup. This does look like it wants to go higher based off the longer term. And then you could also extend some of this stuff out rather than having it be so tight here. You extend this out, and then you grab this one, extend it out. It's still a falling wedge where we could break higher on the longer term. So that's kind of where we're at. That's drawn on the monthly there, and we're still basing out. Could we still do a couple of more zigs and zags before moving higher? That could be the case. So longer term, I still think higher. Shorter term, we could see another hit lower or two or something like that. And then the 30-year, it's a very similar pattern. Whenever I see all these candlesticks within a large move, it makes me think that we could still have another down cycle move in the very short term, not in the longer term. Longer term, this still looks good to go higher. We're above support. This just means that we might do something like that. TYX, TNX ratio, it is slightly lower today, just barely. So not a huge tailwind for gold or precious metals. It's just moving sideways here at a very inverted state. It's all inverted. And when it uninverts, that's generally when gold does very well. Bond prices are lower, yields are higher. So we're stuck in the mud, going back and forth. Um, don't have a clear direction here recently. We did break the pattern to the downside, this bigger pattern here. This bigger pattern here, we did break that to the downside. So there is downside pressure on the longer, bigger picture view. And this very well could be an increasing flag pattern that we dive lower. So it's very possible, and we could see yields continue to rise over the longer term, and we could see bond prices go down. The 2 and 10, a little bit of an uninversion today, but it's not a huge move. And overall, we are inverted. We've stayed inverted for quite a long time, all up through here. And we haven't seen this dive lower like we're going to get a recession yet. That's what these dive lowers are. Those are all recessions. We haven't seen the dive lower yet, but we are, we're close. We could easily dive lower at any point. Um, I like how we broke to the upside there. That's thrown a lot of people off. We could reinvert. Gold down $8 an ounce, but still looks good to go higher. It's a little bloody nose. The momentum is up. That looks fantastic. Silver is down 0.77. Momentum brought it back up throughout the day. It still looks really good. One thing I'll say on silver here, if you do a yearly candlestick close, this is a yearly candlestick close. If we drop it down to where the resistance is on a yearly candlestick close, which is down in this general area, we could be breaking out here. And we could get a big, huge breakout on a yearly candlestick close on silver. Just something I thought that was interesting. And we'll go back to the daily candlesticks there. Daily looks good though. We've broken to the upside and it is flagging or pennant formation out, which is generally a bullish formation. Platinum up about $6 an ounce roughly. Still underneath resistance, and we are getting dang close. Now, you can draw this multiple ways. You could do 6-month closings where if you do it on a 6-month closing, you've got a big bullish engulfing, you tighten this up, and you're basically breaking out now. You can also do yearly closings on this where you put it on the closing prices of these, and this is starting to break out already. So what do you use? It all depends. What I do is I don't really worry about the technicals as much as maybe a lot of other people do. What I do is I look at the pattern, I look at the consolidation, and then we've got a tight consolidation there. And then I reference that with interest rates, inflation, and other things. This is going to go higher because of all those things and all the ratios too. So it's not just one pattern that makes up my opinion. It's like 150 different charts. Put it all together, and then what is it telling you? What's the picture of the market conditions? If the picture of the market conditions is bullish for platinum, then platinum will go higher because those conditions that the herd or humans are subjected to will push it on up. So I'm measuring the conditions, and I'm using all of the charts and all of the information in the markets to make my determining factor if I should invest in it or not. Palladium, something similar to, we've pulled all the way back to support. We've broken to the upside here, and this looks like a flag pattern, like a downward facing flag pattern. It still looks good to go higher. GDX down a little bit, GDXJ down a little bit, and SILJ down a little bit. No real change, though, in my opinions around all this. They all look very good, and we could go much, much higher over longer periods of time. Doing this daily, I mean, it basically doesn't change fast enough. This is your breakout here, and then I would be a bull ever since that breakout. There's no point to be switching back and forth. XAU to gold ratio, gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold, still at a very low level, and still I think this will go all the way on up with time as gold and silver advance forward. Crude oil up 1.23%. We are breaking. I'm going to say it's pretty close. I was drawing this on different time frames. If you draw it on different time frames, so let's do a different time frame. I was doing it on a different time. Let's do 6 months closing on this. So here's 6 month closings. You can see how this is going. We can zoom in. This is on weekly closings. And if you go on the weekly, I like going on closing prices like through here. You're basically doing a breakout retest. You've got a retest there and a retest going across. So this looks bullish to me. Any way you slice it from the longer time frames. The shorter time frames, this will move all over the place and can make people crazy. So I kind of like to go out. Here's a monthly candlestick. The monthlies, if you were to really squeeze up on these closing prices, the monthlies have a breakout. And then if you were to go back and look, it's basically a retest of the monthly here. TTF gas, we're probably going to do a return move, a little retest off this breakout there. And there's the retest that we're going to do. So we're probably going to come down to this line, this horizontal line going across there. Natural gas in America up 2.24%. We're underneath resistance still. The resistance that I'm talking about is that resistance, that blue line pushing us down there. So that looks good. We're still underneath it. And longer term, with the LNG coming on and all this other stuff and coming through inventories, I think we're going to go higher over time, over the longer, bigger picture view. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, up about 0.9% today. We are, again, above a lot of support and below the big neckline of resistance. And we are squeezing into this corner. And I do think it will break out probably this summer. OIH also up a little bit, 0.62%. And we've been chopping sideways here for a little while. Now, if we get a recession, if something occurs, could we fall? It is possible. Do I think we're going to have a recession? I don't. So, I mean, I like how people always say this. Well, if you get a recession, well, yeah, if you get one, we need to see yields drop, but yields aren't dropping; they're going up. So that generally doesn't occur during a recession, and if it does, you could be in stagflation. And then your question is, well, does energy go up during stagflation? The answer is, yeah, it usually goes up with inflation. So then it depends on how bad the recession is and how bad the inflation is, and then you can debate that until you're blue in the face. Newcastle coal futures down slightly. We're back to that support level. We'll see if that support level holds. Even if it doesn't hold, guys, I would still be bullish. Even if this drops like this and then I think it's going to go higher. And your answer would be, well, you broke the support level. It's like, well, your support levels are where these are located in terms of your volumes. It's not the single line that I have drawn in there. And furthermore, what is driving the price higher or lower? It's going to drive it higher because I think we're going to get into a potential squeeze in natural gas, and I think we'll get a potential squeeze in electricity power generation. So it's fundamentally driven, my opinion, that it's going to go up, and the technicals, we're just looking to see if we're there yet. The Sprout Physical Uranium Trust down 2.332 or whatever percent. It's down there, a little wick at the bottom. We're still in this big flag pattern. Still no change of opinion here. It's still consolidating. Uranium futures pricing is also consolidating. It's right here. We've got the return move. So usually what happens is you have a resistance area. That resistance area could even be as low as we can draw this thing lower too. Right through here is good support. It's possible that you can even go all the way down to $55 a pound. It's also possible to get it up where it's at, or 58, but 52 is a real strong. This is good strong support down there. But we're in a falling wedge. We'll see what happens. We're in a bull market. This is a big bull market with higher highs and higher lows. Whenever you have large movements that go vertical like that, sometimes you get a big consolidation after it. But as long as the consolidation doesn't go as far as where you took off here, you're pretty much good. URA, slightly lower, not much there. There is a little bit of a upward facing pattern there, which means we could see a little bit of downside in the very short term. URNM, same thing, and URNJ. Come on, let's fall down here. I want to get some shares down here. We've got copper right at resistance. So here's resistance. So we've got some resistance through here, and we just hit our head on it right now. We got a little bit of a pullback going on. COPX also pulled back to support. That's a down 3% today. Iron ore chopping sideways, still looks good in my opinion to go higher. Aluminum down 0.8%, and that's right on top of that resistance line. We've got nickel down slightly, but still looks good to go higher in my opinion. Looks like we're trying to base out and work our way on up. We've got Mu up 0.43%. It's holding on within the pattern here. I still think that this is just one big back test that will eventually work our way on up. Emerging markets down slightly. But again, we're above support. Everything looks okay. Looks fine to go higher. Carry up 1.64, putting in the bullish engulfing. Higher, higher, higher is what I see there. TAN down 2.83%. This thing just can't put anything together, probably because a lot of these companies just lose money. Lithium down 1.85, right on support. It's right on top of the support resistance line. I think it will go higher. We have a bullish engulfing up, pulled within it, and then we'll head on up. We've got REMX down slightly, right on support. I think this looks good. We've broken the downtrend. So the first step is to break the downtrend. It doesn't mean that you'll initially just rip. We could move all around like that, and this could be the ultimate bottom. But you break the downtrend, which it did. It's pulled on back, and it still looks like it's got some downside momentum until we work that thing out. But this is a good area to be looking if you like rare earth metals. Baltic Dry Index down slightly, but it looks like it's trying to put in a bottom from a really low level. This is where it's located. Historically, there's not much below where we're at, so I think we're going to go higher with time. XHB, again, this is bearish, rising wedge. We fall onto the downside. This here is bullish. We've got a big bullish engulfing candlestick with small selling pressure. So we'll see if we can reach up here and then roll over or what goes on there. But shorter term, bullish, longer term, like medium term, a little bit more bearish. Russell 2000 down 0.5. It's just holding in the pattern. The S&P is just holding sideways, 0.03. NASDAQ's holding sideways, down 0.36% above support. SMCI down 9.5%. This has had a monster move here. You might see a consolidation sideways. This is another consolidation sideways there. We've got NVIDIA down slightly, but still above support. Bitcoin down 1.77%, mainly tracking sideways up here. Trying to see if there's some sort of flag pattern. Sometimes this can be a topping pattern called the Batman, but we'll see if that plays out that way. Ethereum down 1.9, looks a little bit more bearish going on here. Not much buying pressure through here. Not much buying pressure. And then MicroStrategy down 4.5%. And it's still holding on. I don't know. I mean, this thing, would I buy it? No, there's not a chance in heck I'd buy this company. This company's garbage. Like, it doesn't make money. It just holds Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's an intangible asset. I think the intangible assets are going to have a rough decade plus. So MicroStrategy, the owner or whatever, he picked the top in the NASDAQ, and this to me looks like another top. But it could be a flag pattern that's developing here where we break higher for one last big move. Very well could be the case. A lot of the times, if you look at Elliott Wave, if you look at this stuff, you get these big kind of moves, and then the sideways moves are like wave four. I'm not an Elliott wave expert though, so I'm not going to pretend to be one. But just looking at this, yeah, yeah, that's what I'll say there. Could be a consolidation here. We'll see if it breaks on higher with Bitcoin. And then the VIX is up a little bit. There we are, just tracking sideways, but up 1.33% today. But that's what I've got for today, guys. So give me a thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website. Special is the coupon code if you're interested in joining. And that's all I've got for today. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.